So in a previous video, we looked at how to create multiple choice assignments and set up the answers that you wanted counted as correct. In this video, we'll look at how to use automated grading to import those grades instantly into your gradebook. So let's take a look at our example Google Classroom. And remember, this is the assignment that we made. And if you have not seen the video about setting up this assignment, you'll want to go back and watch that before watching this video. And the first thing I want to take a look at is actually what happens when a student submits the exam. So this is the page that a student sees when they have submitted the exam we made. They have the option to view their score. And if you'll remember, we put in feedback for the various questions. Here they got the wrong answer. It gives them that feedback. They got the right answer for this one. They got the right answer for this one. So this is what your students see immediately upon completion of that type of assignment that we set up. And you can see that the student also sees that they got 40 out of 50 points. So we can close that. Let's go back to our Google Classroom. You can see in the assignment that you created that 2 of your students have turned in that assignment. So I'm going to click View Assignment and go up here to Import Grades. And what this will do is actually pull the grades in from the Google form automatically for the students who have turned it in. I'm going to click Import Grades. It gives me this message, which is very important. Importing grades will overwrite the current grades in Classroom. So if you've typed in grades by hand for any reason, this will overwrite those grades for this assignment only. But it's good to keep in mind, depending on how you're doing grading. This is a much easier way to do it than writing in grades by hand. So let's go ahead and hit Import. And you'll see that the grades my students have earned populate automatically, and they're listed as draft. This is actually a really nice feature of Google Classroom. When I import grades, Google Classroom is going to allow me to double check that nothing looks odd before I solidify those grades in my gradebook where my students can see them. So right now, I can see these grades. The students could see the feedback after they turned in their exams because I picked that setting when we set up that exam. And again, go back to that video if you're unsure how to change those settings. Here in the gradebook, in their formal grades, they cannot see these until I return the assignments. I can choose to return just one assignment, or I can choose this checkbox and it will check all student names or all students. You can sort by status for first and last name to find specific students if you don't want to return them all at once. And in order to enter these grades in the gradebook and make them official for students, I'm going to hit return. This says, are you really sure? And also lets me post a comment with these, such as, great work. And I'm going to return these students' assignments. You can also do this one by one and give individualized comments to people, for instance. So now, if I go back to my Google Classroom, you'll see under this grade tab, here's my assignment, this multiple choice exam, and my student grades have appeared. From the student's perspective, so we're going to go to the student version of the same Google Classroom now. So it looks very similar, only slightly different. When they're on their classwork tab, they have this option at left, view your work. This is a student, they can view their own work. So if they click on this, and if they pick return with grade, you'll see here is the exam that I just returned. This is the feedback that I left on it. They can see that I said, great work. So that's all it takes to grade multiple choice exams. You can do this in less than a minute, which is fantastic relative to grading by hand. In future videos, we'll look at other types of assignments, other types of ways of giving feedback that you can use in your classroom. So stay tuned for those if you're interested in those things.